Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alliance live show number 57. Yeah, baby. We got Gold Maurice in the house. Hello, everyone, and what's going on, my buddy? Live show number 50.
What's up, man?
Not much. I got to learn not to do that anymore. It's like every time we start the stream, I still have the volume on YouTube. So I'm just checking to see that the sound works, but I gotta mute it. So we got a lot to talk about. Obviously, there hasn't been much in the way of news as far as the game is concerned, but we do believe that we are on the horizon here of the mod slicing. What do you want to call it, technique or addition to the game, and I want to just kind of talk a little bit about, what when it's coming. First of all, when we believe it'll be here, and also on top of that, what the mechanics will look like. I mean, what's the cost going to be associated with that, or how it's going to work. So, Maurice, where do you think we are as far as mod slicing is concerned? I mean, how far down the road do you think we're looking here for this to actually get into the game?
Well, they announced they're going to be releasing some sort of patch. They may have already done it. Just a small little preparation server update, if you will, for mod slicing. I would say probably the next 2 weeks. I would anticipate it very, very soon. If any of you guys are kind of unsure, Affinity, an alliance mate of ours, part of RSG, the streaming community, he put out a great video, 5 things you need to do to kind of prepare for the mod slicing. It's a great video if you guys haven't checked that out. Real informative. Basically, just save your credits, guys. Maybe level up your green, your blue, and your purple mods to 3, 6, and 9. But this is paraphrasing his video. So you want to the green, you want to take up to 3, blue to take up to 6, purple you want to take up to 9. Because when the patch comes out, the chance, like at level 3, like the green mods, you have 100% chance. Like if you get a speed secondary on it, you have 100% chance to get that speed to roll. But once the patch comes out, you'll have a 25% chance because it will list all of your secondary stats first, I believe is what it was, and then it rolls them after you've already obtained all 4 of the stats. So it's a good idea to take your greens to 3, blues to 6, purples to 9. Golds don't matter because they're going to be the same percentage to roll each of those stats. And you want to keep them at 3, 6, 9. You don't want to take them all the way up because the price of the mods is going down. It's going to be almost. Let me see if I can find the exact number here. Yeah, it's going to be 248,000 credits to take your mods from 0 to 15 now, opposed to 486. So that's a huge help. However, kind of leads me to believe that there's going to be another use for credits. Perhaps the slicing is going to be pretty expensive credit-wise. There might be some other thing we have to spend credits on now. I'm unsure. Right. I don't know.
Right,
a lot of speculation.
Right, they don't ever do something like that for nothing. Like, there's a reason why they're lowering the costs of mods, and I think you're right. I think it's definitely due to there being an increased cost and something else. I think mod slicing has a lot to do with that. Now, I don't know if it's going to be mod slicing specifically. I'm assuming that we're going to get some sort of I think that mod slicing is going to be kind of like gearing up a character. There's going to be like pieces that you have to get and things like that, and I'm assuming that some of those things will probably be able to farm out of like the ship PvE table and things like that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not speaking from experience here. I wish I knew the exact answers, but I can tell you that I think it's coming soon. I don't know how soon, but I think personally we're probably looking at. If I had to guess, I'd say probably within the next. I'd say within the next 2 weeks. I think by the end of the. What's today's date? The 23rd. I'd say before August 5th, August 6th, we're looking at this. Probably by the beginning of probably the first week of August. When do you think we're getting it?
I mean, I could say as early as next Thursday, at the maybe 12 to 14 days. I think it's coming pretty soon. I really do. They've talked about it. They've given us plenty of notice about it. They haven't given too many specific details. But I'd imagine upgrading the mods is going to be real similar, like you mentioned, upgrading characters, their abilities. They'll be like, just like the ship abilities as well. There's probably going to be a green one to take it from, a gray mod to a green, and then you'll need blue. You'll need like 2 different materials to take it to blue, so on and so forth. And you'll have like these super rare omegas that, hell, I mean, they could be obtainable only via purchased packs. I mean, for all I know, there's going to be some sort of pack. I go ahead and guarantee there's going to be like a material pack right at the release, just like the ship omegas and reinforcement abilities. I'd imagine there'd be a pack right out of the gate, 60, 70, whatever the case may be. So I would say $60, get you a nice little head start. Yeah,
kind of like the ship omegas, basically.
Yeah, and that pack, when it came out, you're like, oh, you can't get these abilities anywhere else, right? It looked like a good value until they released the PvE table, and you could see that you could get reinforcement abilities every single day just from farming normal nodes, right? So these packs are generally available for 30 days, so maybe if it's something that interests you, you might want to sit and just hang out for a minute. You're not going to fall super behind if you can't upgrade your mods immediately. This mod slicing, if you were to upgrade all of your decent green, blue, purple mods that you have in your inventory, you're never going to get there. I mean, that's going to take you forever. So it's not a race necessarily. So we'll see. I'm excited about it. I think the popularity of this update will all hinge on the availability of the resources to slice. So we'll have to see how they handle that. It's all speculation, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to expect, really. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little excited at the same time.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I don't know what to expect. I'm just hoping that whatever it is, it's not like first of all, I hope it's just a small adjustment to mods. I hope people aren't going to be going, from like I hope the mod increases aren't going to be sick, and whatever they are, I hope that the cost for them isn't putting everybody a step behind people who are spending a lot of money. And again, I think that there should be some sort of an advantage for the people that are buying whatever pieces they're selling and things like that. I mean, they should be able to get there faster and things like that. But I hope that they put all those pieces or whatever is necessary to get these mods to a higher level in a farmable place somewhere.
All right, guys. I did link Affinity's video here in the chat. If anybody's interested in that, it's a good video.
Night Sisters actually are good against Bastila. I did face a Night Sister team and lose on offense to a Night Sister team in arena earlier today, actually. I mean, I beat them later because I changed the way I attacked them. But the first time I went in, I chose the wrong attack order basically, and I didn't go for Asajj first, and that stack in offense came back to bite me at the end. It was Asajj. It was a Mother Talzin lead, and basically everybody had revived. I took out Daka first, and then Talzin, and then I was going for Asajj, and I should have went Asajj and then Talzin, but whatever. I got it the second time and it was fine. But yeah, I agree. I think that we're looking at probably 2 weeks for the mod slicing to come out. When it does come out, I think there's going to be some sort of pack that's associated with it, and then when that pack does come out, I think that it's going to have obviously some sort of a time frame for you to make an investment. But I think that there will be. I think at first it'll be kind of exclusive, but then I think that we're going to get those pieces elsewhere, and maybe it'll come from raids, maybe it'll come from territory wars, maybe it'll come from a couple of different locations, like whatever these things are. But I'm kind of curious to see how they do it, and I hope that whatever it is, it doesn't set people too far back in arena. Like I hope it doesn't separate people in arena too much. I hope it's just kind of a little bit of a booster, more than the way mods were. I hope it's not just a major increase to mods. Like I hope like this all of a sudden, doesn't make the mod sets that I have just irrelevant now, and make it so that you have to have like crit damage sets, or you have to have, offense sets or something like that. Although I do have kind of diverse, different types of mods. I mean, I don't want to have to go back and remodel my characters due to the changes in the effectiveness of the mod sets, if that makes any sense.
Well, a lot. There's kind of, I know one in particular, but a lot of the veteran, players that have spent a lot of money, especially those that have purchased
monies.
Let me get them monies.
Let me get that
especially that have purchased these gold mods for crystals.
Yeah,
they're a little bit upset, and rightfully so. But you have to think like the free-to-play players are going to get better mods, yes, right? But they're going to have to take the time with limited resources to farm for these materials. I mean, wherever they're going to be, I mean, they're going to have to spend resources to get these materials, and then they're going to have to slice these mods, and there's still only a 25% chance these mods are going to hit the speed, right? So, I mean, there's still a huge gamble in it. You still have a massive advantage, and who knows? Eventually, they might make the gold mods kind of evolve into something else. There's going to be those gold mods might turn into 6-dot mods, or these gold dots. In the future, there's going to be a way for you to get ahead, and the people that already have massive stock of gold mods in their inventory, I mean, you're still light years ahead of those that don't. It's not, they're not going to catch up overnight. I mean, let's be real. We've all played this game a long time. It could very realistically take you a full week, maybe longer, to take a green mod all the way up to a gold mod. A full week's of resources and farming to level up one mod, and there's not even guaranteed it's going to increase the speed at all. You can just blank it every time, and you just wasted a whole week. So it's. I understand where they're coming from, but I don't think it's going to be quite as nasty as they anticipate. If that makes any sense. Like I have a lot of mods, right? I have a lot of mods. I never purchased them for crystals out of the store, but I was luckily when the mods came out, I could farm them exclusively, forever. Like I just farm nothing but mods. So I have a lot of mods. I'm not concerned at all.
Right, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like when mods came out, right? When mods first came out, I mean, besides the crazy mods, I'm not talking about the sick mods that were like 99 speed. That got fixed in a couple of days. What I'm talking about is there was that small window of time where people like myself, I was able to get the speed challenge done real quick with my resistance, and then I was able to, with 100% drop rate for like 48 hours, just get tons of mods. You know what I'm saying? So I spent like thousands of crystals on, like a couple thousand crystals on just getting mods, 100% drop rate, and then they nerfed the drop rate like the next day, and I was way ahead with high level mods in comparison to anybody else in the arena. So I mean, it was unfair. I mean, and I hope that something like that doesn't happen. Like I hope that there's not like this. I hope it doesn't. I hope it's just not. I just hope it's not unfair. I hope it's not unfair. That's all I'm saying. I mean, like however it rolls out, I'm sure that they're going to take lessons learned from the past and kind of apply those to any new updates that they come out with, and I'm sure they're very aware of what happened with those mods and how how it was perceived by the player base. So I think that they're going to be careful with how they roll this stuff out. But I'm just hoping that it doesn't create a huge disparity between people who are investing in those mods and not. I hope it just gives you. I hope it gives you a benefit, but not a tremendous benefit. If that makes any sense.
Well, a lot is going to hinge on how. Like, if this is something else that we have to use our canteen energy for, then it's not going to really benefit the free-to-play at all, because they're going to have to decide between farming mods, farming these upgrade materials, because they said it was going to come from the mod battles, right? The battles that you do the very beginning where you get the 1 and 2 star mods.
Right.
So that's going to be, I mean, if you have 3 places that you need to split your canteen energy, that's going to be painful for the low to spend free to play casual type players. The the people that have everything out of Cantina have a huge advantage if that's the case. So it's I don't know. We're gonna have to see. We can sit here and speculate all day if they drop it, and like the gold, like how the materials, like we'll say the mod omegas, for lack of a better term, if they were just impossible to get, you don't have anything to worry about. I mean, that's an extra roll. I mean, you cannot get plus 20 speed without that, without that third roll. I mean, it's going to be tough. We'll see. Something else to do. Something to keep us busy. I like it because it's individual based. Like it will harm your guild indirectly, but like it's not like if you miss your territory battle. It's something that's kind of self driven. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, it's again, it's one of those things where it's tough to speculate. I did want to talk about it a little bit because I want to kind of see what your thoughts were. What everybody else's thoughts are about what kind of changes this could make to the game. But again, we went down this path a while back, and there was a lot of drama about it. So I'm hoping that there's not a lot of drama this time. I hope that basically whenever it comes out, I know they're testing it and stuff like that. So I'm sure that whenever it drops, it'll probably be high level quality. So we'll have to just wait and see.
Well, yeah, this screams 6-7 dot mods are on the horizon. They're
Right.
decreasing the value of the
Right.
5 dot mods, making them cheaper to upgrade. They're kind of slowly getting us there. Like months ago, remember they changed the drop rate back to 100%, and then they allowed the mods no longer had crystal prices in the stores, just credits and ship credits. So I think it kind of looks like they're slowly kind of phasing out the 5 dot mods. Nothing crazy. I think it appears they've maybe learned from a couple mistakes they made in the past, just push something too quick. They're kind of easing us into it, which if that's the case, I feel like they've done a pretty good job in that department because it has been a lengthy period that they've been slowly getting rid of these. So, yeah, because they exist. We all remember what was it, the Rancor tank drops where I think it was Rancor where you just mysteriously got a bunch of 6 dot mods when they first mods came out.
Yes, then they took them away from us. I was like, there's no way they're taking it away from us. Like they were like, oh, they're gonna take them away. I was like, no way. I was like, I equipped them on my characters, and I was like, there's no way they're gonna be able to take it now. And like, I just literally went back to my character, and the character was missing a mod. And I was like, are you serious? And they gave us mods that were like horrible in comparison.
Yeah, but pretty much just like a fresh 5 dot mod. Here you go.
They're like horrible in comparison to the mod that I gave away. It was not right. But I mean, they tried to give you like what they would consider to be the equivalent. Like they gave you back your credits that you spent on that mod, plus I guess a higher level 5 dot mod. But I think in that circumstance, when you screw up and you give me 6 dot mods accidentally, I don't think I pay the price. I think I benefit from that, and you give me like either extra mods or extra credits or give me more Omega mats or whatever. At that time, we didn't have Zetas, so I'm just thinking of like whatever compensation they could get. Maybe crystals.
Omegas would have been fair, because you cannot have 40 secondary speeds just floating around in the environment. That's not good for the game at all. They had to take those away. Like that's.
No,
it sucks for those that had them, but it's just that would have broken the game. There would have been a small 1% of the whole player base that just had a massive advantage. Because you go into a arena right now with your character.
You there, Maurice? Maurice, I think I lost you. Maurice, can you hear me? So, I guess, guys, we lost Maurice. Can you guys still hear me? Somebody type in the chat. Yeah, I could try that out. Maurice is gone. No. Maurice, you there? Yeah, I think that's the screen's frozen. No, I'm not. I mean, I think everything's fine with the screen. I think Maurice is just frozen. So let me see if I can fix this, guys. Hold on one second. Okay, so guys, I don't know. While I'm waiting to find out what happened to good old Maurice, I'm going to take some suggestions here for squads. Having some technical difficulties with Maurice. So the stream's still good though, right? You guys can see everything? Okay. Alright, cool. Well, we're just going to go ahead and continue without Maurice for a little bit, and I hope you guys. I'm gonna take some requests here. So after I get done with this team, actually, you know what? We kind of got a little screwed up here with this battle because I had to step away for a second, so really didn't get a chance to do that. So you know what? Let's go to the requests here. Somebody had just requested a team. Anyway, can run Bastila, Grandmaster Yoda, GK, Ezra, and Anakin. Yes, I'll try that team out right now. Okay, so...
I'm back. Can you hear me, man?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Or give me a second to get sit back up. My internet dropped out. My bad.
It's all good. Speak again. I just want to make sure the stream can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
All
okay,
right.
so I'm going to take out these guys here. And you wanted Ezra and Anakin, right? So let me just get some Jedi. Ezra, Anakin, and we're good. Sorry, guys. Maurice is super unprofessional with his internet service over there, and he screwed it up for all of us.
Well, you got me using this stupid camera. I guess the camera's using all the Wi-Fi.
The camera uses zero Wi-Fi.
I know, it's a joke.
But that's cool. You know, it was it's fine. I mean, listen, it happens. You know, my internet cut out a little bit earlier. You know, so it could totally happen. Let me see here.
All right, Rom keeps asking for us to do a roster review. We can do that real quick for you, Rom. Rom 180. I looked at your roster, and you're good to go, man. You're good.
Yeah, we were talking about that actually last week, and how Rom's roster is totally good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rom's got us both smoked in terms of roster depth and strength, so I don't know how much help we could provide for you, man.
No, we'll give Rob a roster review, no problem. Anytime he wants, man.
Like, yeah, I'm looking at your arena team. It appears your Darth Scion only has 145 secondary speed. You probably want to get that up to about 150. You know, your Nihilus is, he's only going about 255. You want to have him going at least 256.
This match has been like effed. This match has been like really like screwed from the start. I haven't had a chance to get going here because it seems like I just keep getting stuck behind a taunt here. And, believe it or not, I mean, I'm going to get annihilated here pretty soon, so... Okay, let me go over here. Let me try this again. I'm going to give your Ezra and Anakin team one more shot. The problem here is, though, I think that we're missing a tank, and that's kind of an issue. I mean, we have nobody to absorb that. We have nobody to absorb that isolation, which really kind of. I mean, once Bastila gets isolated, it's pretty much a wrap at that point. She's
well, that and Anakin sucks. Sorry, Anakin is not very good. Like, Anakin would be useful if you could land that buff immunity and it wouldn't get instantly cleansed when they took a turn. Like, if you could just basic attack Sith Trooper and buff block him, that he'd be usable. With just, I don't know, man. I've tried to use Anakin many times in TW, and I'm constantly disappointed.
It's very bad.
I mean, I take the time to mod him. I mean, he's not like super duper has my best mods, but decent, has some nice offense. Some decent potency for that buff block, and maybe 70, 80 secondary speed. Not lightning fast, but usable. I mean, definitely serviceable.
Oh,
because he's relatively fast. I mean, he's got, apart from his armor, his base stats are pretty good. It just,
yeah,
I don't know.
That team with Anakin and Ezra is not working. We're gonna go ahead and switch that up. Does anybody else have a?
Let me see what we got here in the chat. Andrew, is that the team you just ran? Bastila, Grandmaster Yoda, GK, Ezra. Yep, that's the one we just ran. I'm still here, aren't I?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I got this new computer, man. I'm not like.
You want to try to turn your camera on again?
Oh yeah, it should be on.
Okay, so hold on a second.
I got my nostrils in it right now. Hold on. Can't beat Trey with Jedi. Yeah, you can. Grandmaster Yoda. Unfortunately, Bastila is not ideal for Traya. I don't know. Good character. Unfortunately, not the answer to Traya. Bastila, 2 times Yoda, Thrawn GK is a suggestion. Bastila, GK, Ezra, Nihilus, Old Ben. Can you hear me, Ramon?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Bastila, GK, Nihilus, Old Ben.
Yeah, Bastila, GK, Ezra, Nihilus, and Old Ben from Kafgar. And then we have one from, just saw it, Vague. Bastila, both Yodas, Thrawn, and GK.
Okay, Bastila, GK, Nihilus, and Old Ben. Just 4 characters?
Ezra.
Oh, Ezra? Okay. Alright, so let me get rid of these characters here. And then go.
This is a team, a good player on my shard runs, actually. That exact 5. Well, no Old Ben. I don't think he uses Old Ben. I think he uses Grandmaster Yoda. Like, it's just tough to get to that Nihilus now, especially with Ezra. Well, I guess you got to dispel in Bastila as well. It's just that Sith Trooper can be such a pain to get rid of that taunt. Like, it's just so unpredictable. Like, you can't really time it. It's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Wonderful suggests Zeta EP lead with Nihilus, Scion, Death Trooper, and Krennic. That's actually a team that when the EP first got reworked, that was a popular team. It kind of fell out. I don't really know why. Maybe it's poor on defense. I've never had any success with Krennic myself, but that just could be user error. People either love Krennic or just can't use him. I'm one of the can't use him guys.
This is a cool team. Again, I just feel like we're missing components here that would make this team possibly good. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we can't spread buffs to the other characters because there's no Grandmaster Yoda, and we can annihilate, which is cool. But do we have enough damage with Old Ben and GK on the same team to take out the Sith? I don't think so. You know, Old Ben and GK, they hit like little children.
If Trey ends up isolating your Nihilist, that's ball game. You don't stand a chance. If you can somehow prevent, because the opposing Nihilist is going to get off before you, because whoever Trey decides to isolate is going to reduce Nihilist's cooldown.
This is a joke. I'm getting destroyed here.
I can see. Last week we had a lot of people recommend Old Ben too. It's just I don't think Old Ben. He's kind of outdated. I don't think he's serviceable
Old Ben
in the current meta. Yeah.
Old Ben is not cutting it. We're gonna have to go ahead and get rid of Old Ben. I'll try the same squad, but with somebody else. I think.
If you're going to use Old Ben, it needs to be in place of GK. Like, there's just you can't have both. Not on that team. Not on that particular team.
What I'd like to try is this team with Visas.
That could be cool.
Especially against the Sith. That could be cool. Okay, so now
DSP says I'm gearing Sith Trooper right now. It's probably a smart move, especially for TW. Because if you don't have Traya yet, you guys will get there soon. And Sith Trooper is kind of a staple on that Traya TW defensive team. Because you really want, ideally, you want to separate EP and Trey into two teams, and you definitely want to use the Trey team on defense, and then according to your guild, depending on your guild, you might want to place that EP team on defense or offense. With Bastila, that EP zone is going to melt pretty quick, right? So you need to be leery of that. Bass is going to be a great TW character. I don't know long term in Arena. She's new, she's the sexy new character. Everybody likes her. She's a great character. I think over time everyone will just evolve back to Trey lead.
Oh, it's so difficult against the Sith Trooper to do anything. I mean, it's just like you're just stuck fighting Sith Trooper the whole time, and he keeps regaining health, and you don't do enough damage to really take him out unless you. And you have a lot of buffs, and that's really the problem here, and why we're not doing anything. And Nihilus that we have is really like a squishy Nihilus because he doesn't have the Traya lead, so he's dead.
To really stand a chance, you're almost going to have to use Nest or some sort of countering character that I think she's the only one I think that counters and has a dispel on her basic, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe, I think. I could be wrong. Maybe Paplu does. I don't know. I don't have any experience really with that character. But like you have to have somebody that passively gets rid of that taunt to stand a chance.
I know Paplu is your favorite character.
I'm working on him. Lamar talked me into... He tried to sell me on the Ewoks, but he definitely sold me on just Low Gray and Paplu. Those are going to be the first two I work with, because those kind of have they got a cool little unofficial synergy with one another.
It's very unofficial. It's very unofficial. It's almost like it doesn't exist at all.
Yeah, I'm trying, man. It's just, and there's guys in the guild. There's a couple guys in Zai that are all about the Ewoks, and they say they handle Bastila pretty well. So, if people start putting Bastila on defense, Now those Ewoks are looking more attractive because they can counter CLS and Bastila. It's in-game problems. If anybody that's watching has a GP less than probably 3 million, you don't need to be concerned with the Ewoks whatsoever.
Bastila, Yoda, and Ezra are the light side triumvirate.
Drew Dog has asked, so Assassin and Marauder are totally useless of time in mats. No, because those are two characters that you can help split up your Treya and EP. I have zero experience with Marauder. I just finished 7-starring him, but he's only like Gear 7, Gear 8. Haven't really tested him.
Because all the cookies are at Maurice's house. He's saving them for you.
Yeah. Dr. Gonzo is an Ewok. He's an Ewok fan. Wiki with these two under Chirpa lead are great. Depends on what you consider great, I guess. But what's the bar set at? I don't know. Not sold on the Ewoks.
Zachary, I will mention you, Zachary Robinson. There you go. You got a mention there on the stream. Kafgar is here. No worries. Who's gonna be the pilot for the new Sith fighter assassin? I believe it's gonna be Sith assassin. Yes.
Yeah, I think it is. Golden chinchilla themed cookies. Okay, Master Kylo, Jiminy Christmas, man. All right, Master Kylo has requested 37 times Bastila, Thrawn, Hoda, Grandmaster Yoda, and Ezra.
All right, we'll do that for Master Kylo. My good old buddy Master Kylo. I do anything. so is it Bastila and what?
It's Bast. Okay.
You know what? I forgot. Let's just forget about that request. Let's just skip that request.
Bastila, Thrawn, both Yodas, and Ezra.
Okay, Bastila, Thrawn, Yoda. That should be a song. Yoda. Okay, maybe not.
That's basically the premise of all these. Hey guys, request a team. It's like Bastila, the Yodas, Ezra, and then the mystery fifth. It's like everyone's looking for the mystery fifth.
Is that what he wanted? Ezra as the fifth?
Yeah.
Ezra? Okay.
Again, you almost need a tank.
This is not going to work without a tank, right? Okay. Why do I not see? Oh, there's Ezra. Okay. That's what he requested?
Yeah.
All right, Master, here you go. Your tankless team against the Sith. Let's see what happens. I can tell you, I know exactly what's going to happen. And it's not good.
Bastila, Yoda, and Ezra are the light side triumvirate.
It's not good. Let's see what happens here. Okay.
Gom, look at my Ewoks, bro. No thanks. I don't want to feel terrible about myself. I'm sure they're Gear 12 with all 3 of the Gear 12 pieces on them. It's all pimped out. I am collecting the questions from the chat, guys. If you have any questions, I've got a few. We've kind of been answering them as we go here, but there will be a question section at the end.
We do a Q&A at the end. We actually are going to, after this battle, do our meta report. Get that out of the way. Master, I gotta tell you, I am so surprised because I thought that this team was going to be unbelievable and amazing, but this is the worst team ever.
I don't know, that one with Anakin was pretty bad. Master, but I mean, that's why we're doing this. I mean, you guys have these ideas, and there's been a couple. I mean, some of these suggestions you guys given us, like I think it was DSP with all the Geonosian Spy. Those teams worked, and I'm super excited.
You're right about that. I do have a serious suggestion for Master though, and that's just stick to Power Rangers. that's where it's at for you.
He's asking how slow you're throwing.
How slow my Thrawn? My Thrawn is the fastest Thrawn in the galaxy. Let's see, can I take out Nihilus? Oh, no, not Nihilus. I mean, Scion? Yes. Okay, well, listen, Thrawn was able to Throne's able to help us do a little bit more than most are able to do. The only problem we have now is, again, um, taking out Nihilus is going to be nearly impossible.
Oh, it's going to be impossible. Like there's unless you can just get like 3 flourishes off with Ezra, the rest of the battle. Because if you watch, everyone plays on 4 times speed, but if you physically watch, that trail lead gives 10% health back when one of your allies hits a debuffed opponent. And towards the end of these arena battles, if you guys watch it, I guarantee Nihilus is when he is healing for like 25k when somebody attacks your character. It's crazy how high his health pool gets.
Yeah, this is a wrap here.
It just sucks because they have this great character they introduced called IPD that is virtually useless because he doesn't do, like, he's not an annihilate. He only does 99,999 damage, and that takes off like half Nihilus's health now. It's crazy how short-lived that character was. It's a little disappointing because he's a hard character to get. He's an accomplishment from Dark Side territory battles, and he no longer kills anybody with his bomb. It sucks.
Okay. So we're going to do the meta report real quick here, guys. Alright, so real quick, we're going to dive right in. And there is not much difference here, other than Bastila Shan has made her way to the top 10 leaders at rank 1 as the 10th leader. And I think that's going to continue to rise. I don't really see much movement here with Palpatine. He's still pretty much half the pie. Traya continues to see more use, obviously, as people continue to lock her and star her up. Depending on whether you're running a Palpatine lead with Traya as a support character, or you do give Traya that Zeta and run her as a leader, then you're going to see more Traya eventually, I think, because Traya's defense as a leader is, I think, personally, in my opinion, going to be the meta of the future. So, what are your thoughts about this? Top 10 leaders here.
Same thing. I think a month from now, Trey will be number 1. Well, maybe not number 1, but very, very close, because a lot of people won't have her yet. But I think Bastila, like you said, will indeed climb, especially on newer shards. If you're a brand new player and you start playing, and the marquee event is Bastila, it's going to be Bastila across the board because she's at 4-star, 3-star, 4-star, totally usable. Don't even need a Zeta on those early shards. She's just going to be dominant because everyone's going to have 150, just massive amounts of protection to get through in a lower shard. She's going to be she'll climb. I guarantee she'll be top 5 at some point. It's interesting to see Vader still on there. Rex has fallen down, which is interesting. Those last 3, Hera, Kylo, and Hera and Kylo especially, that's newer shards, because Kylo is definitely a good investment early on. He's an incredible character, especially on these new shards. First order or no first order, it doesn't matter. He's just a great character at lower levels, and higher levels too. But yeah, pretty much what I expected. Bastila was actually a little lower than I thought, because I'm on a veteran shard, and there's 4 or 5 people running her, all decked out 7-star with the Zeta to the 9s. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bastila is going to be on the rise, though. I think we'll see more and more Bastila over time.
I bet Palpatine's down below 5K next week when we do this.
You think so?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because those medium life shards, like the shards are maybe a year old, where you're progressing and you're just not quite able to get to the heroic Sith raid yet. I guarantee those shards are littered with Palpatine leads everywhere, and Bastila stomps Palpatine's face in. Palpatine doesn't stand a chance on defense against Bastila. You could have terrible mods in your team just go in there and destroy Palpatine with Bastila. So that'll be interesting to see what people switch to on those shards. If they don't join the Bastila bandwagon, to see what they do.
All right, so let's move on to the top 10 squad members at rank 1. And we have Emperor Palpatine, Vader, and Grand Admiral Thrawn still holding down the top 3, with Nihilus, Scion, and CLS behind him. Really no change here other than Darth Treya actually makes it on to the top 10 squad members. I don't think she was on last week.
I think you're right. I don't think so. I think that's just the case of people getting her. If you guys are close to getting her, start saving the gear. Don't unlock her and then spend 3 weeks trying to gear her. Just have it ready. Start saving now, because as soon as you get her, there's nothing worse than getting a character like that, and not being able to use her for 2-3 weeks. So just be ready for that if you're close, because she's totally worth every droid collar you put on her.
Yes,
and she's the best. She's the best character in the game, I think.
Yes,
without a doubt.
Yes. That's really pretty much it. I mean, not much has changed. Again, sometimes with these, I like to do the meta report, because there are times where there are significant changes based upon new characters coming to the game. I mean, obviously we saw Bastila's on the rise, but weekly I like to take a look at the status of where things are being used, because for players, I mean, this may not make a big difference for players that have been playing for a long time and players that are very experienced, but for newer players that come into the game that are kind of watching the stream for the first time and taking a look to see what they should be running in Arena, the meta report is really the #1 place you should look. Okay, because the top 5 characters that you're seeing here in top 10 squad members and the top 5 leaders that you're seeing in Arena are really the characters that you should be going for. So where to invest your resources, okay? Because I mean, a lot of people, when they start the game, they make a mistake and they invest in the wrong characters. I've seen a lot of people in the beginning. I mean, really, if I had to say the one big mistake that people make when they start playing this game, it's usually because they're either not farming characters all the way to 7 stars and they're just stopping at like 5 or 6 stars, and then they start working on somebody else. They never finish anything, or what they do is they invest a whole bunch of resources in characters like Clone Wars Chewbacca or Jedi Consular, because they're the first characters that they got and they just want to kind of max them out, when that's really a huge waste of time, and you should really just only use them as long as you need to start the game, and then move on immediately to one of these characters that's obviously a little more viable. And I mean, I'd like to I've always talked about restarting an alt account to kind of go back to the beginning to do a real beginner's guide for players. I'd love to do that, but I don't know if I have the patience to go back and start over again, to be honest with you.
It's tough, man. It's tough trying. It's tough to stay with it, especially now as just you got TW and TB and all this other stuff during the week, and it's very, very time consuming and difficult to do that. But
I think eventually I will just do a video that's a beginner's guide to like the game, and just kind of try to jam a bunch of information in there about when certain things are going to happen for you, because a lot of that stuff has changed, like when you'll be able to activate guilds, like when you'll be able to get into arena. I don't even remember.
They have things now that we didn't even have access to. Starter guilds. They have like these new quests, like all the quests that you and I have are like in-game quests, but there's a whole series of quests leading up to that. Gives you access to like princess. They almost kind of lead you in the path with these character shards they're giving you.
Plus they
lead you down the CLS path and get you kind of prepared for that. They give you like Stormtrooper Han, they give you Princess Leia, they give you these shards for these characters, and while those are easy to farm, they kind of get you started, so...
Plus they give you like full, I mean, when you get to the level for ships, I mean, they're giving you a full Grand Moff Tarkin, basically. These getting 80 shards of a character like that at the beginning of the game is crazy. I mean, when I started playing, I mean, it took me forever to unlock Darth Sidious and get 80 shards for him. So I mean, it was like, nowadays you're gonna get put on the path and kind of pushed up that path a lot faster. So, but that's pretty much a look at the meta report and the top 10 squad members and leaders at rank 1. We're going to move on now to our weekly top 5. And because of the new KOTOR characters coming out, there's going to be a new droid, T3. And, just before we get the new droid in the game, we decided that we wanted to do uh, top 5 droids in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes to just kind of get prepared for the new droid coming from the KOTOR game and get us prepared for, what droids we might be seeing in Arena if this droid is able to affect the other droids in any way and make them more viable. So, looking at top 5 droids here, who do we have at number 5, Maurice?
It's a big if. Number 5 is IPD. I actually touched on this a few minutes ago. The deeper these health pools are getting, like, with all this new Gear 12 Plus gear, it's relatively easy, especially for tanks, to be above 100,000 health in protection. And as we talked about, IPD only does 99,999 damage on his bomb. So his usefulness is kind of falling way behind. But he's still a very good character. Bomb or no bomb, he's got an AoE dispel, which target locks. And with the Zeta, as long as they don't dispel this target lock, it prevents them from getting buffs. So he's extremely useful against factions like First Order. Even these Jedi, just dispel all the Jedi, put that target lock on them, prevent them from gaining buffs. So IPD could kind of rise up in usefulness against these Bastila teams, because you could just prevent them from spreading buffs whatsoever with that Zeta. Decent character as exposed on his basic. A little bit of turn meter manipulation, removing turn meter from target locked enemies. Not very much, but every little bit helps. Turn meter manipulation is the name of the game. There's a little element of it in there. Required for Darkside TB, and that P6 mission is pretty difficult. So you want to gear him up. Kind of middle of the road gear wise, not terrible to gear. Number 5 droid, but that's
Number 5.
There's only so many of them.
Number 5 droid, but yeah, no, yeah. I agree. I think he's got and a lot of utility. Being able to stick target lock, and he also reduces turn meter, and there's only so many characters in the game that have pretty much a one-shot ability, and he's one of them. So in that sense, that's great. I mean, you can kind of target a specific character that you want to eliminate, and he can pretty much just take out almost any character in the game, even with protection, with that one attack. I mean, the price you pay, though, is you sacrifice him as a character, after that, because he sacrifices himself. He basically self-destructs, so as the ability would indicate. So he's basically a great utility character to help you eliminate, let's say, a key component to your opponent's squad. So if, let's say, you have a character that you need to eliminate, pretty quickly, there's even tricks to do that, with an Emperor Palpatine lead, for example, and there's ways to work around, getting to his base health, so you can use that ability a little bit sooner. But he's a great overall character, and with the droid squad, I don't know if I would necessarily consider him somebody that I would want to probably put in my droid team right now. But again, that depends on any new leader abilities or uniques or things like that they could add that could change dramatically. What's his speed like?
Let's see. Let's have a look. We got SWGOH here. I think it's okay. I don't think it's anything to write home about. It is 144, so that's pretty slow, actually, because that 144 includes the 12 speed from those brand new pieces. So 132 for most of us is his base speed. It's right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, it's pretty slow.
Yeah, but you could pair him with Jawa Engineer and get him to go quick.
Yeah.
So if you need him to go first, he's an option as a first turn dispel with Jawa Engineer. That's taking 2 characters to AoE dispel the opposing team, but it's doable. Meow Baka in the chat says good counter to Ray Jedi training. That is definitely the case. Very good counter to that.
Yep.
Serviceable character. Everyone gets excited. You get him in the in the dark side territory battles. It is cool though to have Palpatine kind of use his health steal move in the first move of the game, zap IPDs. Health and IPD can blow up the first turn. That's pretty fun. But unfortunately, in territory wars, that penalizes you and you lose points. Because at the end of the day, there's gonna be so many characters in this game that everyone can burn through everyone's board, and it comes down to the 20-point banner wins that are going to determine TW. So it's
right. That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So next character number 4, droid in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is IG-88.
This killed me to put him so low because I absolutely love this character. I've always loved him. I think he's fantastic now with that Zeta, but he's a big investment. You really to get him viable in any sort of PvP scenario, you have to get those Gear 12 pieces on him. The long-term investment is very, very good. Massive amounts of damage, especially against debuffed enemies. Slots in kind of with these Jedi training Ray teams. Don't sleep on it. It's good. It's good on those teams. I use it in TW. It's pretty snazzy. He's a good character. Lots of damage. Got a health block, healing immunity, on his basic. It's a very, very underrated debuff. Very, very good. Especially versus these Traya teams. While they will dispel it when it's their turn, that healing immunity will prevent them from healing just when the other characters are attacking you. So it does have some use. AoE, massive damage. It has ability block, AoE ability block, and target lock. That's pretty nasty. The Zeta prevents healing and protection regeneration on target lock characters.
And what is it? What is it? 20% stack crit damage per debuff, mm-hmm. or?
It's something that's new with this bounty hunter rework. They kind of get slowly, just kind of stealth like put in this 50% health steal mechanic against target locked enemies. So if he's attacking a target locked enemy, he's probably going to heal himself all the way up because he does have a little bit, maybe 15-20% natural health steal in his kit. So we're talking 65-70% health steal against target locked enemies, and that's why he slots in so well on these Jedi training Ray teams for TWs, because with him in L3 you're kind of making your Ray team Night Sister proof, right? That's why everyone's kind of pulling the Rays off defense, is because they're so susceptible to Night Sisters. 88 and L3 kind of make them Night Sister proof. So it's something, if you guys are in advanced guilds, you have the GP and you have maybe some resources to play with, it's an interesting team to work on. Very good. Any sort of droid team, depending on this T3, if T3 is like the answer, guarantee IG-88 is going to be on this team. So he's a bounty hunter, which you need for dark side territory battles. Good all-around character, serves a lot of roles. Credit heist. So yeah, I love him. Cool leadership ability. Very cool leadership ability.
Well, he was the leader for Geonosians a while back.
Yeah, he's a cool leader ability.
Yeah,
not much use right now, but it's pretty cool leader ability for Wampa too. Especially if you got that Zeta on Wampa. It's interesting.
Yeah, he was a great leader for Geonosians way back in the day, and he was an essential character during the heyday of the droid meta with Jawa Engineer. He's got a ton of damage. I mean, stack crit damage, on his unique, and that's based on debuffs. I mean, if you get enough debuffs on the opposing team, he can wipe out a lot of squads. He's still an effective character in TW when used correctly in certain areas. I mean, he's not going to take out a lot of the meta teams that are out there now, but he's definitely a great addition to some different squads. You could throw him in there, to take out some lower level teams based on how well they're geared, or how high star level they have. But I mean, he's got a lot of damage for a character, but he's also very squishy. So
extremely squishy, yes.
Yeah. He's got some ups and downs, what I'm saying. But again, these days with the uniques that they have, protection regeneration. I mean, his kit is just it's received an update, but it's still a little bit dated in the sense that He needs some sort of survivability factor added to his kit or to whatever leader ability is in front of him for him to be able to be, I think, a meta character. Um, but yeah, I mean, he's definitely worth being in the top 5 as far as droids are concerned. Moving on to number 3. Who do we have here, Maurice?
Number 3, I believe, is L3, correct?
Yes.
L3. Yes, L3. Character that the majority of you probably have sitting at the bottom of your roster, untouched, like level 1 3-star, just from the marquee event. This character is absolutely amazing. This is a great, great character. Unfortunately, you kind of need her to be at 7 stars to get the most out of her kit, because it's much like this Jolie character we just got. It's a very health-based, health-oriented heal type of kit. And so naturally, you get 7-star gear 12, you get massive amounts of health from it. But as is, she heals. She's got a heal for the droids, for the scoundrels. She has a prepared mechanic that allows her to taunt. What's cool about her is there's a lot of cool things about her. But she counters, and she has this unique to the game where you can spend your turn just amping her up. Almost like you don't do anything else except just upgrade her. It's like MK1, MK2, MK3. She doesn't have to take a turn. She just keeps amping herself up, and then all of a sudden, you've got her on a team with like BB-8s, and she's countering every time you hit her. She's taunting, she's countering, she's critting, she's reducing Illuminated Destiny, she's healing. With the Zeta, anytime a droid gets below 1% health, basically dies, she equalizes their health with hers, which is phenomenal. Especially we talked about how squishy 88 was. If they come in and focus fire 88 down the first turn, that's the obvious move, because that's the DPS. He just pops himself right back up, almost full health, because they've equalized health with her, and then all of a sudden you've wasted your whole first turn for nothing. Like you basically took the protection off IG-88. A great character. I'm not too savvy on these new scoundrels, so I don't know how they really function, and I've got to practice with them in a few months, but I'm sure she's going to be vital for that team. Probably the most important, because she's the tank, she's the healer. A support droid. Very, very good support. She's listed as a tank, but she really is more of a support type character, in my opinion.
Well, I've seen a lot of benefits with her behind a Rage Jedi training lead.
Oh, yeah.
With BB-8, R2-D2, and Chopper. And if you run those 4, that team can be very, very meta. So
because Illuminated Destiny's popping off like second turn, because Chopper's assisting, L3's countering. As long as they crit, it reduces Illuminated Destiny. You get that thing off quick.
It requires that second Zeta on BB-8.
Yes, absolutely.
And I would suggest, speeding up the team as much as possible. But it's a great combination, and she adds a lot of depth to the droid Rage Jedi training team. I'm not a huge fan of the prepared team, to be honest with you. I really don't. I really haven't figured out, and again, that's probably my own fault for not having really figured out too much about how to use them very well. But I don't know. I don't think that a lot of people have. So I think that's why they're kind of more of an use. I think that they'll eventually have their necessity, because I think that you'll probably have to get that team together to get some sort of character at some point. Maybe they'll release Quinlan Voss, like from the movie or something like that, and you'll have to get all those characters to get them. We'll have to see, but yeah, overall, L3 definitely a great addition to the droids, and I think that again, if T3 or whatever droids do come out, if we do eventually get a droid rework, if there's a good leader ability there, I think she might be one of those characters that you throw in there. She's one of the better. She's probably the best character out of that whole prepared team, period. So.
Oh, for all around use of the game, absolutely. That's without question, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say so. But that's our number 3 droid in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and now our number 2 droid in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. You know him, I know him, Ray knows him. He's our little circular bad boy from The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, BB-8. Just talking about him. So I think this is a pretty obvi pick here, and he's got a lot of benefits. Obviously, Illuminated Destiny, secret intel. He's a key to any Resistance squad, especially a Rey Jedi training-led Resistance squad. And he just adds a lot of utility to a lot of squads. I mean, he has the ability to, kind of get the rest of the team going as far as damage. And I mean, when he does pop off Illuminated Destiny, there's what buffs do you get with Illuminated Destiny again? It's
God, I don't even know. I think it's like crit damage up, offense up, crit chance up. Well, let me look.
It's a lot, and it's
yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot, and I mean he's a character. He's a legendary character, so I mean there's a reason for that. He's a fantastic overall character. His basic attack,
advantage and speed up to those ones, yeah.
Can stick tenacity down. I remember when tenacity down was a new debuff, and only Dengar was able to do that. He was that's a cool thing to be able to stick that with basic. I mean, obviously he can then help out in raids and other things like that. He can also inflict daze for 2 turns. He's got BB-8. He gains turn meter for every ally that has secret intel, and he's also got a unique that gives him counterattack, and he calls random allies to assist if they're resistance if he attacks out of turn. And I mean, he's just a great all-around character. I mean, there's really not much else to say. I mean, he's got a whole ton of utility, especially in a resistance squad and a droid squad. And I think if there is a rework to droids, he's going to be an essential piece to that team.
Oh, he'll be mandatory. I mean, for the sole reason that if all, like, you put the Omega on his ability. The ability is called, I believe. Oh yeah, the covert data transfer. BB-8 gains taunt for 1 turn if all allies are droids. So, I mean, that's pretty cool because then you can basically not bring a tank to the party and just have BB-8 taunting passively every turn, and he'll have foresight, and with that Zeta, they'll attack him if he's got foresight. They whiff, and then then all the droids are gonna heal health protection. Just a weird character. Just like really, apart from him countering, you're never really gonna use his basic attack, which is interesting. It's an interesting concept, and it's effective. I mean, you pretty much covered all of it. I mean, everyone knows what he does.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great character right now. Since Rey was released, he's great. Prior to Rey's release, he was okay on Finn teams for like P4 of the raid. No arena use whatsoever. Unusable in arena. Then Rey comes out, and all of a sudden you've got a brand new meta character in her and BB-8. So
yeah,
get your first order, guys. If you don't have BB-8, you definitely want. Gotta get it.
You want to get BB-8. Yeah. Now I think our painfully obvious number 1 character is going to be R2-D2. And R2, well, I mean, what does R2 not do? He's got a sort of a semi-passive taunt with his ability to throw smokescreen up and choose an ally that doesn't stealth. So basically, you can pick the taunter for you, which is kind of even better than having a taunt because you can pick the highest health ally and just give them foresight and stealth everyone else on the team. He stuns with his basic attack. You can inflict burning, which is a debuff that only he has, and he's got a ton of utility with his unique abilities. I mean, his unique abilities really affect a large amount of characters because of how many tags he has and how many tags he affects. So basically, he has utility for Galactic Republic. He has a utility for Resistance. He has utility for rebels. He has utility for droids. You know, he has utility for pretty much almost every faction, except for like scoundrels and things like that. I mean, he has utilities for tons of factions. So there's not a lot of characters that have utilities across the board like that, and he's pretty much an essential character to have in this game for territory wars, and not right now so much for arena because of the Sith meta, but just a few months ago when CLS was dominating the scene, he was pretty much an essential character for arena as well. He's definitely a great addition to a droid team, and if there is a droid rework at some point, I would also imagine that he would be pretty much a mandatory character. So I'd imagine whatever droids you're having on that team, BB-8 and R2-D2 are probably going to be essential pieces, and then you're going to be working around those characters to make it work.
Well, they're both those characters are so fast. R2 and BB-8 are top 25 in the game speed wise. And you mentioned it. His tags do all of the work. The Zetas, both the Zetas. Number Crunch, in my opinion, is still a top 5 Zeta. It just spreads all his base stats, spreads them to all of those factions you mentioned: Droids, Galactic Republic, Rebel, Resistance. That's a lot of factions. That's probably about half the game, to be honest. I mean, that's a lot of characters in the game.
Yeah.
And in that second Zeta, it allows on a crit hit, you'll crit hit and then it will passively just cleanse you. Like it'll take all the debuffs off you if you crit hit, which is super clutch, especially on these resistance teams because they really lack a dispel. He is your dispeller on the resistance team. Just R2, fantastic.
Just R2.
Yeah.
If you don't have him, get him. Yeah, absolutely. But that's our number 1 droid in the game. Now we do have an honorable mention, as we normally do, and this one I selected because he's got a special place in my heart, and I think that he's not only got utility on a droid squad, but other squads as well. That is B2 Super Battle Droid.
Oh. I gave Ramon the choice, Chopper or B2. Yeah,
I knew you were going. I knew you wanted me to pick Chopper, and I'm not a homer. Okay, so we're not doing that. And
You're right.
And I picked B2 because you know what, B2 is awesome, and he deserves his time as Spotlight too. Listen, B2 can dispel AOE dispel. He sticks buff immunity, AOE buff immunity, and he has a chance to gain 100% turn meter, a 40% chance to gain 100% turn meter every time one of his allies takes damage. That is unheard of. If this guy did any kind of damage with his basic attack, he'd be the best player in the game. The problem is he's just got a very weak attack, which can be adjusted with mods, and you can give him offense and things like that, but no amount of mods is going to make this guy hit hard enough to make him a meta character right now. But he has a ton of utility in a droid squad. I ran him in arena for a long time. He was an essential piece to my droid team. And you're running against a stealth team, like let's say you're running against a Night Sister team with Night Sister Acolyte, or you're running against an R2-D2 squad, or you're running against, let's say, a Sith team with Darth Maul lead. He has the ability to basically render them ineffective. He's also very anti-evasion. He's got a ton of utility for, I think, a lot of different squads. And number one, having that AOE buff immunity and AOE dispel makes him a very viable character and a nice fifth piece to kind of counter a lot of different metas in this game.
Yes, he. What's so great about him is you could totally use him. I think he unlocks a 4-star. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's a 4-star unlock, and you could totally use him at 4-star gear 8. You get the most out of him, get just as much out of him. Great character, great piece to counter a Kylo Ren First Order team that you're seeing on defense and TW. Good counter to that because, like you said, AOE dispel to get rid of all those taunts and all the junk they got going on, and it will buff block them. which is super helpful. Kylo Ren won't be taunting Stormtrooper Han, or First Order Stormtrooper can cleanse himself and taunt, but just prevents a whole lot of stuff there. Just a great character. And it hurts my heart you didn't pick Chopper here, but I mean, we're trying to be helpful to the masses, not Maurice's Homer picks. So
Chopper's got a lot of utility too. I mean, listen, we'll talk a little bit about him. And Chopper, Chopper could have been here too, just next to B2. I mean, listen, it's tough to keep him out, but Chopper is great for a Phoenix squad, and he's a great addition to that droid squad with Ray Jedi training that we discussed earlier with B2. I'm sorry, with BB-8 and with L3. It's just that Chopper is, I think, a little bit more niche, whereas B2 has, I think, overall usage. And again, I'm not saying, I think that Chopper's probably the more meta of the two, to be honest with you right now, because he can be used in a squad that can defeat some of the meta teams that are out there right now. But B2, has... I mean, if you're talking about facing a double taunt, or, I mean, he has the ability, you could throw B2 in as your 5th character, and he just has so much utility. I mean, he goes so many times because of the unique ability that he has. If you stack him with, with offense, and you give him, he doesn't need speed. You know what I mean? So speed is irrelevant with him. He gets 100% turn meter every time somebody... He has a 40% chance to get 100% turn meter every time somebody gets attacked. So he's never going to... Almost every time he goes, it's going to be due to that ability. It's not going to be because of his speed bar. So I think that, he's somebody you want to mod for damage and for potency. So if you mod him for damage and potency, he can be a very effective character in a lot of different squads. But that is our top 5 droids in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, courtesy of the Alliance, Ramon, and good old Maurice. And now we're going to move back to some gameplay. If you guys have any requests for teams, now's the time. If you have any questions that you want to have asked on the stream, I know some questions have already been asked. We will address those. Right now, I'm just going to try... to get GOM's camera to work again real quick.
Oh, here. Let me turn it off. Let me turn it back on. Yeah, we do have a bunch of questions. People have been pouring in the questions tonight. I'll go ahead and start those while you fool around with that. We got 2 from DSP. Both are very similar. First question, where's Snoke?
It's a good question.
All right. Snoke, I don't know. We definitely have
I have
the characters for any sort of legendary event ready to go. I guarantee if there is such a thing, that Rose and Holdo will be included somehow just to get some use out of those 2 characters. Especially Rose. Ugh. But
we will eventually get Supreme Leader Snoke. I mean, he's already in Force Arena. So I don't know how they did that or whatever, but he's in Force Arena. He's just not in this game yet. I don't think they have figured out a way to work him in yet. But I think eventually we're looking at Snoke. We're looking at Hux. We're looking at a lot of these characters from the Force Awakens and The Last Jedi coming into the game. I actually made a video about this that you guys should check out a couple weeks back, kind of just speculating when the characters from The Last Jedi might come, because we still haven't gotten the Praetorian Guards either. So if you guys want to check that out, you should. Also, B2 is one of the few pack openings that I've actually done on video too. So if you ever want to see the drop rate on Erodium packs, back when Erodium packs used to exist, you should go way back into the past to my index of videos and see that video. Also, I had a comment here from Twitch for Siggy Stardust. Said you came to our server looking for help for your wife. I don't know what server you're talking about. If you're talking about the Discord server, then definitely go to the Alliance server and just ask for Ramon, and somebody will point you in the right direction, or you can just send me a direct message, a private message, and I'll help you out with anything that you need, brother. So just go to the Discord server. If you can't get to the Discord server, you can find a link to that at www.thealliancegaming.com. There's also a link to my YouTube channel's Discord server in the description of this particular live stream. So you can just go down to the description here and click on that link, and it'll bring you to my Discord server. So you can reach me there too. But all right, let me go into some battles here. Do we have any requests for teams? I guess right here I see.
Oh yeah, they came poured in as soon as you asked here. Blah 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 blah. Okay. New first timer to the stream, Tesla Edit.
Welcome,
says,
welcome, Tesla Edit.
Okay, he's requesting Palplead, Vader, TIE Fighter Pilot, Tarkin, and Thrawn. Felipe Minachuchi.
Palplead.
Sorry.
What was that? You got to repeat that again. Palplead.
Okay, Palpatine, Vader.
Mm-hmm.
TIE Fighter Pilot.
Wow.
Grand Moff Tarkin.
I don't know how well this team is going to work against the Sith. This is probably going to be
No, this is going to be ugly. But
maybe we should try this against a different team. I don't think that's going to work. I'll try that against Bastila. We'll do that against Bastila.
Okay. Yeah.
So Palplead,
Vader, TIE Fighter Pilot.
Vader. TIE Fighter Pilot, where are you? Yeah, that's what happens when you don't have a Zeta.
Well, no, he's way down because he's only got 3 abilities.
He also got no Zetas. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that too. So he's going to be like way down there. Just because it only has 3 abilities only.
What are the other pieces?
Grand Moff Tarkin and Thrawn.
Okay.
Both of those should be at the top. They both got 2 Zetas. I'm assuming you have both Zetas on Tarkin. Check to make sure you got mods on Tarkin. I don't think we've used him on the stream in a few weeks. But, okay, the next question from DSP, while you get that set up.
I do have
First question was, where's Snoke? And the second question is, where's CP3O? Or C3PO?
C3PO. Well, C3PO's never... he's never attacked anybody. Even R2-D2's had some attacks in the game, so C3PO, I think if they bring him in, it'll probably be in some sort of a support role, kind of like Hermit Yoda. Maybe just kind of give buffs to the droids, or I think he'll be somebody like that. I don't think he'll be somebody that that does like heavy damage or is attacking people and whatnot. So. Yeah, I think that eventually we will get C3PO. I mean, we have to get C3PO in some way, shape, or form in this game. He's too big of a character not to make his way into the game sometime.
Well, it's just you're right. He would be a support droid, which is something we don't need. Like L3 is a tank, but she's technically support. R2 is support, BB-8 is support. You've got Chopper as support. I mean, you just got tons and tons of support droids. We need some damage. If these droids are going to make a comeback ever, they need damage. And it's going to probably require a rework to the Separatists, because that includes 3 of the droids. And then maybe you could get some damage out of Grievous in IG-100. I think B2 is okay as is. You can't have that dynamic of a Dispel / buff immunity AoE. You can't have damage to go along with that. That's just OP. I think he's okay.
That'll be OP.
As is. He's a support character as well. We need some damage. Hopefully this T3 droid provides some damage. I can't imagine that being the case because, again, in the KOTOR game, he's pretty much support. I mean, this is what he does in the game. You bring him in your party as like a support character. We'll see. It hurts my heart. I want some damage.
We're not going to
How do
stick
you think he
any.
gets? See, how do you think he'd be a marquee character or some sort of legendary event?
RC3PO.
Yeah,
I don't. I don't doubt that he could be a marquee. I mean, I don't doubt that he could be a legendary character, but I mean, I think that yeah, I don't think he would be marquee. C3PO is a pretty big character. I think he's part of the. I mean, he's just as big. He's just as big of a character as R2D2 is.
yeah,
So, I mean, so if you think R2D2 is an important part to the story, then I mean C3PO is. I mean that's C3PO is Anakin's droid.
yeah,
I mean Anakin, Anakin the main character in the whole story. Vader himself created C3PO, um, and that's kind of where the whole thing started, right? I mean, we got C3PO, and he was just a like parts basically at first, and then Anakin finished him up, and C3PO and R2D2 kind of put us all on this journey with Luke, and I'm kind of nerding here a little bit, but I think that C3PO would probably be a legendary character. But again, I don't know how they would introduce him because there would definitely have to be some sort of. I mean, he would have to be just some sort of support character. I don't think he would be added to the game as, an attacker or somebody who would do like damage. Like, I think he'd be just somebody that kind of, you know, he just kind of assists in buffing the team, things like that.
All right, let's see. Let me provide a link here to the stream to someone that messaged me.
Yes, I do play Battlefront 2.
All right, next question. We have a question from. I am terrible. I got this new computer. I'm terrible at navigating this. Keyboard the Planet Eater. What is the best Bastila team? Well,
well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what I think. I think the best Bastila team is what you're seeing right here, but with instead of Old Ben, I'd say General Kenobi. I think it's basically Bastila Lee, General Kenobi, Hermit Yoda, Yoda, and Ezra. I think that right behind General Kenobi, I'd say Old Ben would be the next best option there if you had no choice. But I think General Kenobi provides more utility with his ability to call in assist. Again, all these characters in some way, shape, or form call in assist. You got Bastila calls an assist, Hermit Yoda calls an assist, Ezra calls an assist, General Kenobi calls an assist, and those are all kind of things you need in order to do enough damage to take out some of these really high health, high protection Sith squads. But that's my opinion. I think that you obviously can sub some different characters in, but I think the best squad is going to be that right there. It's going to be with Bastila lead, Grandmaster Yoda, Hermit Yoda, Ezra, and General Kenobi. Do we have any other squad requests?
yeah, I keep losing them here. Trying to collect these questions. Let's see. We just did the Emperor Palpatine. The next one was from Felipe.
Zeta Finn, Poe, Resistance Trooper, Enfys Nest, and Rose.
Did we try this one earlier? Bastila, Hermit Yoda, Grandmaster Yoda, Nihilus, GK. Did we try that one already?
Yes.
Yeah, Felipe. That was towards the beginning of the show. We did try that one. It was okay. We've got a lot of requests here. Let me see. A lot of these are real similar. Just it's the four like staple Jedi, and then like the mystery fifth. Let's see. God bless America. All right, we have. Okay, yeah, Zeta Finn, Poe, Resistance Trooper, Nest, and Rose.
Who is that from?
Same guy, Felipe.
Yeah, Felipe. Yeah. So yeah, we'll try that team. You're actually right. That team can beat. It can beat a Sith squad. I actually there's a video out there by Grandmaster Broda of doing a 3 versus 5 against a Sith team with just Finn Lead, Poe, and Resistance Trooper. And that's
Well,
a
just
it's
you
pretty.
just have to have a lightning fast nest. You have to make sure your nest goes first because that nest goes in an AOE dazes the team, which yes, it will get dispelled instantly, but it will daze Nihilus and prevent him getting that turn meter from debuffing Scion. So that's important. You have to have her go first, otherwise she's kind of worthless. And she will counter and dispel that Sith Trooper, which, as we've seen all night, is a real nuisance to take out, to get by. Well, you get that one set up. I'll go to the next question. You answered the Bastila team one. Does R2D2 have any place on a Bastila Jedi team? That's from DSP as well. That's interesting, because does Bastila have the Galactic Republic tag? She does not, does she?
No, she doesn't. No.
She wouldn't benefit from that, I guess, that his passive, but the rest of the Jedi would. And, this will give them more protection, more health, more potency, which I don't think they really need. And it will give them more damage. So, yeah, so possibly. It's just that the team really lacks offense. You almost want to use that 5th spot, I think, for offense. Personally, I think the best teams are the 4 core, the Yodas, GK Ezra, with 3 of those in Bastila, and then like a 5th being like Ahsoka, Fulcrum, possibly Visas. You made a video about that with Visas.
Yes.
That would be. I don't know. You think R2's got a place or no?
Yeah.
It's the only problem with that is you have to pull R2 off another team. In terms of TW, you kind of want your R2 on your Ray team, whether it be offense, defense. That's up to your guild. I just feel like taking him off another team kind of hurts you. It might make the Bastila team a little better, but it's really going to hinder another team that you're using in TW. For Arena, perhaps. Speaking of TW, next question is from Vistara. It says, what is the Bastila counter for TW? This team, perhaps. This team, I don't know if it'd be Bastila, actually. That wouldn't work. What is the Bastila counter for TW? Because you don't have Treya. You don't have First Order. First Order is a kind of a soft counter for Bastila. I mean, those are 2 teams that pretty much everyone at the high levels uses defensively. That's tough, man. You could use a Rebel team, just high burst damage to kind of burst through that protection. The problem is they're kind of squishy. I mean, your high DPS Rebel characters like Biggs, Wedge, Raid Han. These are all characters that are relatively squishy, and Ezra can probably take out with one flourish. Zeta Ezra. I guess we're all going to learn. I guess we're all going to learn here on the fly come tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah.
You got any suggestions for countering Bastila?
Well,
Ewoks counter Bastila, surprisingly. So, if you have them, there you go.
Well, I mean, I'd say, whenever you're looking at a counter team, you have to look at the teams that can beat them. I mean, I'd say obviously, a Sith team can beat that team. I think you can easily win against a team like that with a high level Sith squad. I think you can also win against a Bastila squad using a Night Sister team. That was discussed a little bit earlier when used correctly. I think there's also the mirror team. So if you're using Bastila yourself, you can counter Bastila by beating Bastila. If you can't beat him, join him. Just use another Bastila lead yourself. But some of the other squads fall a little bit to the wayside, like sort of the Rey Jedi training teams and some of the Kylo Ren on mass teams. But Can you win? Again, it all depends on mods, okay, and what the mods are on that Bastila team, and then what the mods are on your team. And ultimately, most teams out there can be defeated by another meta squad. So I mean, you can run a Rage Jedi training team and beat a Bastila team if it's modded correctly. You know what I'm saying? Because once you get Illuminated Destiny off, if you can get away to, if you can, get a 125 speed, 130 speed on your BB-8, get him going, get secret intel on your squad, get Illuminated Destiny off, it's a wrap. Once you start sticking those exposes and getting things going, you could definitely do that. The problem you're going to run into at the start is the tenacity bonus that Bastila has. So really, you just have to kind of get that secret intel going and last for a couple of turns for that tenacity bonus to kind of expire, and then you'll have a much better chance to start sticking, exposes. And once you get a couple exposes on that squad, you can see that protection up start to slip away.
10, 20, 80. I'm trying to do some math here for this next question. While I try to figure that question out, Nathaniel Miller, what toon is your biggest regret to have farmed?
Oh, my biggest regret to have farmed. I don't regret farming any character, but if I had to say like the worst character I ever farmed, I'd probably have to say like Mob Enforcer or Jedi Knight Guardian, or but those characters, they were like pretty much in stores, so it was like, why not? I already had everything else in that store. I might as well use the currency to get them. But it does. It does. If I had to say a character that I worked my butt off farming, that I didn't have to work so hard to get, I'd probably have to say I'm a Gundy. Okay, when I'm a Gundy was an impossible character to get, when he was only in one node, in hard nodes to get, I was going heavy after I'm a Gundy because I'm a Jedi. Yeah, I love Jedi, so I wanted to be that guy that had an I'm a Gundy lead in arena because it's cool. Counterattack. I had Ayla Secura. I thought, listen, I'm going to be the guy that has I'm a Gundy. So I went hard after I'm a Gundy. I was farming him, and I got to 6 stars, and I was almost there. I was about to get him done to 7 stars, and as I got to about like 30 shards away from a 7-star I'm a Gundy, where I probably would have been the first to have an I'm a Gundy in arena, in my shard, like ever, for a long time, because they probably were way behind me. They threw I'm a Gundy in the Cantina nodes as a farmable character.
Yeah.
So like as soon as I was like super close to getting I'm a Gundy, all of a sudden he became a much easier character to get. So I was refreshing nodes to get him and things like that. When I could have just waited and got him in 2 weeks in Cantina, I went crazy for a year to get I'm a Gundy. Like almost, it felt like a year getting I'm a Gundy to 7 stars. It was a long time. It probably wasn't that long. It was probably more like 6 months or something like that. But farming that guy from scratch, because he was only in one hard node, and at that time, it was only, 3 turns. You didn't have 5 turns like you do now. So it took forever to get like Jedi Knight Anakin, I'm a Gundy, characters like First Order TIE Pilot. These characters were hard to get at first. So, Hoth Rebel Soldier. The guy had 1 node. I think he still only has 1 node, right?
Yes.
So these characters were hard to get. So to finally get I'm a Gundy to 7 stars was pretty heartbreaking to do all that work, and then realize that other people were going to have I'm a Gundy in a couple of days too. So it kind of ruined that whole thing for me, and I lost interest, and I just moved on to something else. So I'd say that was probably my number 1 regret.
Yeah, well, I'm sitting there looking through my roster. It's easy to say the clones, but I did get some use out of them. I'm looking at my Gear 12 characters. I have to say the biggest regret I have taking a character, gambling and losing, would be a Gear 12 K2SO. He is the Gear 12 character I use the least on my whole roster, at least to any sort of effect. He really is a disappointment to me. He's not good. That's probably mine. There's lots of characters I've gambled on, but I stopped. Like, I wish I could have Zetas back on a few characters, but I don't know. And they're slowly balancing the game. Savage is kind of worthless at Gear 12 now. I don't use him at all. I don't have the Zeta on him, but he's pretty, pretty. I guess I was sitting here looking at my Night Sister Zombie Gear 12, and for the longest time I used them in Arena, and I liked it. Everyone was like, "Oh, you're an idiot for leveling up your zombie." I disagree. The team I ran, it was super effective. However, that Arena meta has now changed, and they're not really usable for me anymore in my Arena shard, and I only use them for TB and for P4 the Sith raid, and having that high geared zombie is really limiting my ceiling for the scores in P4. So I guess she would be up there as well. It's tough. It's a tough question because there's a lot of characters a lot of you guys would say suck, but I find little uses for, like Dooku and even Farm Boy Luke. That's a Zeta I'd have back, but he's still not a terrible character when you pimp him out. Lots of turn meter he gains for himself, so he's not terrible.
No.
All right, next question. I'm trying to get an answer from the... Okay, 145. Okay, now we can answer this question. This question comes from... where is it? Andrew O'Connor asks, I'm done farming Hermit Yoda and Wampa. How much Guild Event currency should I save and keep in the bank before buying gear? If you're free to play and you're really stingy with your resources, it's a good quality to have in this game, for sure. It's 89,100 Guild Event store currency to finish a character. I couldn't remember, but they said 145. Let's see here. Let's try to do some math. My handy calculator. You're gonna need about half that to get a character unlocked. So if you're super stingy with your resources and you want to be prepared, it's not a terrible idea to have, 270 guild currency per shard, right? So 270 times 145. Let's see. So you're going to need 39,150 guild event currency to unlock a character. So if you're doing okay in Arena and you feel like you're still competing in both ships and regular Arena without these Gear 12 pieces at this time, it's not a terrible idea to try to save up about 40K in there. I know that's a lot and it sounds ridiculous, but if you want to be prepared, because they've never said they're not putting another character in that specific store. So I mean, they very well could drop somebody in there eventually.
Well, they did say that they were going to kind of leave that stuff for you to farm gear out of the shard shop.
Well, no, this is the guild event store where Wampa and Hermit Yoda.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, if you really want to be prepared, just in case, like if you're a just in case type of player, that's a lot of guild event currency. But in the event they drop some new meta character in there, because both of those characters are phenomenal characters. I'm assuming a third character would be another meta character. I mean, you could pretty much have them unlocked before your entire shard. You get a nice heads up that way. Right. But that gear, it's getting to the point now, at least in my shard, like even in my ship arena, I had to put all 3 Gear 12 pieces on my Geonosians for my ships to really compete in my ship arena. They help, and they're especially pieces like that med pack that's 6,500 health. I mean, you're talking, you put it on these Sith characters under Traya. Every time somebody hits a debuffed opponent, that piece alone will give them 650 health every time somebody does a basic attack against the enemies. I mean, the multi tools, you've got the bayonets that just provide sick amounts of offense.
That was your team there, Nathaniel Miller. By the way, that was Yo-Yo Ken for you. We won that match against Ray Jedi Training. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I don't know. I think if you really want to save, so I think if you could save 20K, that's a good mark. That gets you halfway to an unlock instantly. If they do release a character, you'll still be way ahead, and you won't fall too far behind on the Gear 12 stuff. Let's see. Keyboard asks, do you think Burn will stay R2-D2 exclusive, or do you think that other characters that added to the game will be able to do this as well.
Can you repeat the question again? I'm sorry, I was reading.
She's basically asking, do you think burn will remain exclusive for R2-D2, or they'll implement it to other characters?
I think they'll eventually implement it to other characters.
Me too.
I don't think it'll be like everywhere. I think maybe one more character or two more characters will eventually get it, but I think it's definitely not going to be forever exclusive. I don't think anything's going to ever be forever exclusive to a single character, other than other than abilities that are specifically named after like that character. Like so like I don't think anybody else will have Grandmaster's training like Hermit Yoda. Like I think like some of those lock abilities, like I think some of those things will kind of be unique. But I think most debuffs will be eventually. I mean, like we discussed earlier, tenacity up was only Dengar was the only way you could like solo a raid, because of tenacity down. Tenacity up was only Rex for a long time. Rex.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Rex brought that into the game.
Yeah.
And
well, like Palpatine came out and he had this new exclusive ability called Shock, right? Mm-hmm. But then Dooku got it. IPD had the exclusive one, Target Lock, then IG-88 got it. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to put that on another character. Probably another droid character. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it could be another droid character, or it could be. I think it has to make sense, right? Like it's got to be somebody who maybe does some sort of a fire ability. That's why R2-D2 does it, because he burns. That's an ability that he actually used in Revenge of the Sith. So I think that if you're going to see something like that, it'll be somebody who does a burning attack. Like maybe if we ever get like a flame trooper in the game that like shoots a flame, then he could apply burning. Like I think that would make sense.
I remember a lot of people were anticipating his release, and it never happened.
Well, it doesn't mean we're not going to see that character again. I mean, we could see a flame trooper in another movie, and then we'll see him. I'm sure, we're going to get flame troopers again at some point.
Yeah, let's see. Best Nathaniel Miller asked, best First Order team without First Order officer.
I would say Kylo Ren Unmasked, First Order Stormtrooper, First Order Executioner. Then I would say I'd probably at that point I'd say First Order Special Forces TIE Fighter, and either First Order TIE Fighter or Kylo Ren Masked.
Well, yeah. I mean, both Kylos for sure. Well, definitely Kylo Ren Unmasked. Definitely First Order Executioner. Those two are lock. You can't have even anywhere close to the best First Order team without them. If you're going for efficiency in all areas of the game, you do want a pilot. I guess they're all technically pilots, and all the leftovers: Phasma, First Order Special Forces, and First Order TIE Pilot. Yeah. If you're doing it for the BB-8 event, you will need 5. But if you're doing it for TW, you could use both Kylo's First Order Stormtrooper. Pick a fourth Executioner, and then you could use Barriss. That's a pretty effective TW defensive team. That's not terrible and a pain to deal with. You will want Officer. The Officer is kind of the facilitator for that team. He's the fastest, and you can stack him with speed. And then offensively, you can make whoever you want go first. And basically, the First Order teams, to make them the most effective, you want to have First Order Executioner going as often as possible. First Order Officer feeds a turn meter. Kylo Ren, the old Kylo Ren's AOE feeds turn meter. First Order Stormtrooper feeds turn meter. So, yeah, it's a good squad. It's probably one of the best, well-rounded, above average for every aspect of the game type squads. Not phenomenal, but you can do pretty heavy damage in the tank raid with that team with Executioner. You can just go around the horn and just clock every single one of those turrets with Executioner special move, just 1, 2, 3, and drop the tank for a topple, after a couple rounds. It's pretty cool. It's fun. It's a fun team. Let's see. Anthony Zingarolo, Anthony Zing. We'll go with Anthony Zing. Sorry, Anthony. I run Mace Windu Capital Ship. Been top 8 in ships for a few months now. How much longer do you think I'll be able to stay here? Biggs at Gear 12. First Order TIE Pilot Gear 12. Kylo Ren unmasked at Gear 12.
Biggs at Gear 12.
Do you think he'll be able to hold the line with Mace?
No.
I don't have much. Oh my God, what are you running? What is this?
Well, DSP requested a crazy team. He requested like Wampa. I'm actually just trying to find Farm Boy Luke. I don't even know where he is. He has a Zeta, I think. That's probably why I'm not seeing him here.
Yeah, there is a search. You can type in the character's name.
I know.
But God, what was I even talking about? Yawns from Panda. That's a real hoot. I think if you want to remain competitive with your Mace, if you're married to your Mace Windu ship, you're probably going to have to focus farm the Galactic Republic ships. I mean, you can make a case for Clone Sergeant's arguably the best tank off the bench. Pretty awesome ship. Plo Koon's also a very good reinforcement. Fives is a very good reinforcement. The problem is they're all good reinforcements, and it's tough. It's I don't know. I don't have much experience. I don't really have any experience with Mace, so I can't really guide you too close. I can't really guide you in a direction there, but you will want to invest in the Galactic Republic ships, and for nothing else, to have 2 teams. You could run your Mace on defense with all those ships, and it'd be pretty effective in TW. And then you have all those ships you mentioned there, like Biggs, First Order TIE Pilots, Kylo Ren and Ras for offense, because it's tough, especially at the lower GP. TWs. It's tough to balance your ships to have a good defense and a good offense. It can be tough. But if Mace Windu is your light side ship, that's not terrible. He's not him and Akbar. There's not too much. Just different teams, and you will want to get Thrawn or Tarkin. You want a good dark side fleet and a good light side fleet.
For sure.
Yeah, there's a couple more in the chat I didn't have listed here. Drew Dog. Die or die, baby. Besides Revan, what other Old Republic characters do you want to see? My choices are Malgus and Satele Shan.
Satele Shan. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I would like to see. Yes, I mean I would love to see Malgus, but I would say. What do you say from Knights of the Old Republic?
Yeah, Old Republic.
Well, I mean, in general, I'd love to see Bane. I'd love to see Darth Bane. I'd also love to see. I would love to see Vitiate. Vitiate would be awesome. Vitiate or Bane would be my favorite if I could get either of those. Besides Revan.
Well, we've been speculating for a while. I mean, I think it's realistic that we could use these 5 new characters to get Malak, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Malak's realistic.
I think
I don't know. I'm just now getting into the Old Republic lore, if you will. I'm playing the first KOTOR game on my phone, which is surprisingly
DSP. That team's gonna be horrible. DSP, we're gonna get destroyed. I want to, we'll put it out there. Why not? We'll put it out there. You use Jedi Consular and 5s as reinforcements, and
5 reinforcements is awesome. On offense,
finishing top 2 last 2 days. Okay.
If you can sit on him until the turn meter of the opposing team is low, and he comes in and just target locks everyone. And then he can just instantly AoE just bomb all the target lock characters. It's pretty good. Excuse me. The Star asks, do you think we'll see Deathmark in any other characters?
Yes, I do think we'll see that on other characters too. I just think that I think it's going to be based on I think it'll be on another dark side character. It's not that's not really a light side ability. I think if we see Deathmark, um, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say no. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and say no. I don't think we're going to see that on anybody else because I think that was kind of tailored to Death Trooper, and that's why it was called Deathmark. And I don't see it because it's really kind of exposed, but just for Death Trooper, like at a higher level. I think that's why it's kind of going to stay that way. So, I mean, is that completely out of the realm of possibility? No. Yeah, maybe Grievous will do Deathmark. That'd be sick.
Well,
But
a lot of people are speculating that the droids were facing in that ridiculous event. I guess we just had where Grievous is just wiping the floor with all your Jedi. A lot of people are kind of speculating that's the rework we're getting with the Death Mark and the uncleansable healing immunity. Because I mean that itself will counter Traya. Death Mark is pretty awesome. I haven't really tried Death Trooper against the Traya leads. I know that they'll cleanse it, but if you could time it and get that Death Mark in on a character with low turn meter, you could potentially wipe them out pretty quickly. That might be something to try. Yeah, Grievous has Death Mark in the assault battle. Yeah. I said the Gamorrean from the pit raid has it. That's true. We did see some new Gamorreans in one of these PvE events we had. The Bastila event. The Bastila and Jolie event had those Gamorrean brutes and Gamorrean thugs and all that nonsense.
which was actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, in the game itself, you are fighting a lot of Gamorreans. You're fighting all those Sith troopers. I thought that was real cool, the Sith trooper costumes. I mean, basically, they were Sith trooper that we have in the game. They just put a new skin on them. I mean, it didn't really. I don't think it fooled too many people, but it was cool to see, the KOTOR costumes, if you will, or character design in the game. That was pretty cool. I don't think we'll get those, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Geospy could even save that team, DSP. I don't even think Geospy could have saved them.
well, the problem is Gamorrean Guard.
Really, the main problem is Gamorrean Guard. He's the biggest problem.
He's just a pile of junk.
It's not that we were running a Vader lead. It didn't help anybody on the team except Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I should have ran a tenacity lead with Luke. At least that probably would have helped. Maybe prevent some of the expose. We'll see. But any more questions?
I think that's about it. Yeah.
All right, guys. It's been a hoot. Okay, McFly, I'll run that team for you here before we wrap it up. But that's going to be it after this. Let's see. Bastila, Yoda, Fulcrum, Oben. See if you guys have any more questions, you can ask them now while I do this arena match here. Go ahead and type into the chat. So Bastila lead.
I've got a question. Who is Killer BX? Is he a game changer, or is he like?
He's a game changer, yeah.
Is he an American one? I don't think I've ever seen any of his stuff. Does he do like podcasts or something?
I've never seen any of his stuff too. I think maybe he's part of the. Maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe he's part of the Shattered Order podcast.
The gaming fans guys, they're game changers too, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that could be it. That's a good site. If you guys haven't checked that site out, it's pretty good.
Definitely check out gamingfans.com. Definitely check out the Shattered Order podcast with Goodnight Punk, and I think it's Wink. Wink is the other one that's in there. His name is Wink. Killer B, I'm not sure exactly where he is, I've never seen any of his content yet.
DSP, Jedi Luke or Revan first?
Jedi Luke or Revan first? Like, as in, like, who do I want, or who's...
Well, who do you want, and what do you think we'll get in the game?
Good night, Drew Dog. I think that we'll see... I think that we'll see Revan first, and who do I want more? I want Revan. I mean, I think we'll see
I think
Revan
we'll get
first.
Revan first.
I think we'll see Revan, and I want Revan. Luke, Luke will be awesome too. I mean, not saying that I'm not excited about getting Luke. I just think that Revan is such an awesome character, and if you're a fan of the Old Republic or the game in general, I mean, there's no way you're not excited about Revan coming to this game at some point. So I don't know. I think he's going to be sick. I think Revan could be both a light side and dark side character, and he could add a lot of versatility to the game.
Yeah, just Jedi Luke there. I don't know. That's going to be a big one. I don't think we'll get that anytime soon. I mean, look, how long did it take us to get Commander Luke?
I'm looking forward to that hero's journey, though, right? Like, I mean, when we actually get to, when they do the cinematic where he's fighting Vader at the end and Palpatine in the throne room and all that, I think it's going to be cool, man.
I will say both the Heroes events that they've done have been well done. Like the battle scenes and just the cinematics. The events themselves are not challenging. It's way more of a challenge to acquire the characters than it is to perform or to actually do the event. But they're well done.
I love the way they add those like abilities that are like specifically just for the event, like
the old Ben fight was awesome. That was cool. That was pretty cool.
The old Ben fight was awesome.
Yeah.
And where I'm sitting there looking at that ability, right? And I'm like, what is this? Like, it took me like a bunch of turns, like where I finally looked at it and I was like, what does this do? Like, what is this little ability here? And it's like then you realize like what it is. Like you put two and two together and you're like, oh my god, that's him basically sacrificing himself, and it's awesome. And then in the Rey hero's journey, that ending with Kylo Ren in the snow, that was awesome too. Like that just the background that they created there, like the scene, was awesome. I also really like a lot of the scenes that they added with Ships 2.0. You see a lot of the new backgrounds that they have, like where you can fight over Coruscant now. And,
yeah.
I mean, that's really cool.
I haven't been paying much attention, but do those pop up randomly in the arena battles too? I haven't really been paying attention. Or is that just for the PvE stuff?
I don't know if it's just for the PvE stuff or I don't know. I don't do much ships, but
all right. Vistar's got another question. Do you plan on getting the new Thrawn book in 2 days?
Yes. If there's a Thrawn book,
that whirlwind was pretty disappointing on Sith Trooper there. That was pretty bad.
Yep.
Well, I have to read the other Thrawn book first. I got some catching up to do.
Well, I'm really kind of curious where Thrawn is after him and Ezra have that situation. I mean, they kind of left that a mystery. Thrawn survives, right? Because he's part of the story after. He's part of the story after the Battle of Yavin. So. He makes it. It's just a matter of what actually happened. I mean, so is he? Oh, that's not good. It looked like we were actually kind of doing okay there for a second, and then Trey just totally ruined any aspirations for victory that we had. But. What was I just talking about? We were talking about
Thrawn book.
Thrawn book. Yeah, so I'm wondering where Thrawn is with Ezra. Thrawn survives because he goes to the Outer Rim for Palpatine in the novels, and after the Battle of Yavin, he still survives later. So he's going to be back. So I wonder what happened to Ezra and where they ended up going. And since Ezra is now technically around during all the events of Star Wars Episode 4, 5, and 6, most likely, why didn't he intervene or have a part with it? Obviously, we know what happens to Kanan, but what happened to Ezra, and why didn't he help out? Or why when Thrawn came back, did Ezra not be a part of, let's say, Episode 7, 8, or 9? I mean, Ezra would be an older man at that point, but it'd be interesting to see him kind of pop back up, and that could be kind of a way that they redeem Episode 9 for me. If they're not going to bring back Luke or find some way to do that, or not have Anakin score Force Ghost, or whatever they decide to do. If they decided to actually add Ezra to that story, like an older Ezra, that is kind of like because Ezra was really powerful with the Force, it would be awesome, and that would excite me. I mean, I'd love to see Ezra in a movie, make the jump from the cartoon to movie for sure. But all right, that's going to be it, guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I appreciate everybody hanging out. It was a great stream. I really loved interacting with you guys. If you guys want to come chat, come into the Discord. The link is in the description here of the video. We'll be probably hanging out there for a few minutes after the show, but also, on a regular basis, if you want to just come and chat with me or chat with some of the other people that are, always at the show here, Keyboard, and some of the other greats that are here every live show, you can jump in there and chat anytime. And on top of that, you can come into the Alliance Discord to come chat with us there too, if you just want to join a guild or, play with, some like-minded folk. We have a lot of good content creators there at the Alliance too. Arnold is in the Alliance, actually in Good Home Maurice's guild, so you should check him out and his stuff if you're not doing that already. We've actually revamped the site, so www.thealliancegaming.com is actually getting content again now. So you have the Visla Cantina. They're doing their podcast there, as well as Effian, who creates content for ORO in the Alliance. He's posting videos there, mostly raid videos and content like that. Again,
Oro themselves, they're working on something pretty big. It's coming together, so keep an eye out for that. They're working on, it's going to be pretty, something, they did that Annex and the Oro Guild. They put together that great raid guide. They're working on kind of a new project now, so hopefully we'll have some information about that, a few weeks. We'll see what's up. Some good minds. Just such a big community. Lots of good gameplay. A lot of great minds we have here. They all love to share information with everyone. So definitely check it out.
The Alliance, 50+ guilds. Come join the party.
It's an interesting atmosphere. Yeah.
But we'll be back next Sunday. Another Alliance live show, number 58. Hopefully we'll have some new characters to talk about. And possibly a new game update to discuss, and maybe even mods to take a look at and kind of dive into. Until then, may the Force be with you guys, and I will have several videos out this week as well that you can check out. I hope you guys have a good night, and may the Force be with you.